very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us at our Singtel webinar today. My name is Paul, and I'll be your host for today. Now, we all know that the pandemic has led to a very rapid acceleration towards a digital economy, as well as underscoring the need for businesses to review their network design for a decentralized and remote workforce. Fortunately, software-defined networking and a cloud-centric networking allows organizations to address these challenges, making it possible for IT teams to accelerate cloud adoption with enhanced scalability, visibility, and security. But how can you leverage them within your own organization? Well, that's the purpose of today's webinar. Together with industry experts, we want to learn how to transform and simplify your network while optimizing costs for our digital era today. Now, we have today with us 3 speakers who will speak for around 20 minutes each on simplifying the network, best practices for a cloud-first world, and how you can simplify network management with Singtel. Let me hand over the time now to our first speaker today. Yo Ziyong, ASEAN Strategic Sales Manager of Cisco Meraki, will share with us about current networking trends in APAC and how businesses can enhance their networks. Over to you, Ziyong.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Ziyong. Right. In the next 20 minutes or so, I will walk you through recent networking trends and some of the available technology that can help you navigate the new normal. Now, let me begin by saying that work will never be the same again. The future of the workforce, I think by now, everybody would recognize that is distributed, right? So especially in a situation like today, right, all of us are working from home and yet business still function as per normal. Business travel will never be the same again, right? For someone like myself who travels a lot, right, I have come to accept the fact that my very hard-earned air miles are slowly going to be expired, and yeah, so I think business travel will largely not be the same, in the near future. But one good thing that came out of this pandemic or this situation is that digital transformation is actually accelerating because of this situation. So let me show you a timeline of where we are from our working environment, right? How we got to today. Right now, before the pandemic situation hit, before this situation occurred, in the past, we used to work, bulk of the workforce working from a centralized work location, working in the office, and only a selected few works remotely. When the situation hit, like where we are today, many of us moved to remote working, right? So what does it entail for tomorrow? No one knows, right? Because the situation remains very fluid. Changes are expected. It can change anytime. So what does this mean? This actually means uncertainty. Now, is uncertainty good for business? I don't think so, right? Businesses don't like uncertainty. With this in mind, we need to have a strategy to address the uncertainty and how we can navigate this new normal. With that strategy in place, right, here are some of the key focus areas which organizations, right, are looking at to see how to address the uncertainty and so that to ensure that they remain resilient in this current situation. Now, over 40% of the customers that we surveyed, right, are looking to incorporate remote working capabilities into their current working policies. Over 70% of the customers that we surveyed, that we work with, right, are looking to move their assets from centralized location into cloud. So multi-cloud strategy is something that is looked at tremendously. And for businesses that are in the essential services, right, there is simply no possibility of working from home. Safety measures has to be put in place to ensure that when workers go back to the office and work, right, they are working in a very safe environment. So these are some of the key areas that we are seeing from some of the key customers that we work with globally, regionally, right? And from there, we break down into 3 different technology areas: secure remote working, return to workplace, and flexible multi-cloud strategies. Technology, 3 main technology pillars. Now, as we move on, as we progress in this webinar, we'll share you more details on what are some of these technologies that we have in place among these pillars. I want to call out two things, right? The security and end-to-end visibility. Now, these two key focus area cuts across all three pillars, regardless where you are, because wherever we try to introduce new technologies, security should always be top of mind. Not only that, we need to ensure, right, that users have good experience regardless where they are working. So security and end-to-end visibility is something that's very key as we progress and as we introduce new technology into the environment. Let us double click a little bit on remote working. Now, remote working, I think by now, everybody has experienced it. And I think, right, the market accepts and agrees that there are clear benefits for the business when we move to remote working. As you can see, right, over 50%, close to 60% of the customers think that with remote working that's in place, they yield a productivity gain. Over 50% also thinks that by moving to remote workforce strategy, they will see a decrease in the OpEx. And most importantly, right, in order to remain competitive, the business needs to attract top talent. As compared to a company with no remote strategy that's in place, I think over 50% of the customers' response, they believe that if you have a proper remote strategy that is in place, you will be able to attract the top talent even in situations like this. Now, I have to be honest here, right? Not that there are challenges when it comes to, as much as there are benefits with remote working, I think there are challenges as well. So what we noticed, right, as the pandemic hits, when the pandemic started, over 90% of the companies, right, who moved to remote working did so only after the situation hit. It was more of a reactive approach. And when they decided to move to remote, many of them are faced with legacy architectures. And this caused a lapse, I would say, right? Or the business did not have the agility for them to react fast enough to situation that hit suddenly. Now, as mentioned earlier, this situation remains fluid. So it is very important, right, that we have a strategy that is in place so that our investment dollar is placed correctly, so that you can remain competitive and it can navigate clearly in the new normal. So with that, right, a lot of IT companies, right, are placing a lot of focus now, right, to invest in endpoints that can effectively support remote working. Now, I think that besides being able to, putting your investment dollar within the remote working endpoint capability, I think one very important aspect that we need to look at would be the network architecture as well. Network architectures, you need to have a solid foundation that enables you to effectively and easily consume remote working capabilities. And this network foundation, this network that I talked about, right, should be a cornerstone within your digital transformation strategy. Now, what is this network that I'm referring to? This network I'm referring to is the Meraki SD-WAN network. So many networks today are set up in sort of a hub and spoke manner, where generally what we try to do is to direct the traffic from the remote sites into the centralized location, which is the HQ, and that's where all the resources sits. From there, we place in the relevant parameter securities, and this is generally how the network functions today. And it has served us well for the past 15, 20 years, I would say. Now, as we move to the cloud world, more and more workload are moving to the cloud. As mentioned earlier, over 70% of organizations are looking to move workload into the cloud. So what does this mean? This actually puts a strain onto the network, because as your resources move to the cloud, resources are no longer centralized. They are expected to be consumed anywhere, anytime. Not only we have to look at complex routing design, we also have to ensure that user experience is consistent wherever they are accessing it from. And we also have to rethink our security strategies, because now you are no longer guarded by a perimeter. Your perimeter is blurred because your assets are all in the cloud and they can be accessed anywhere. So what do organizations need now? What is the need that we are after? Well, we need a fully secure network that have the flexibility that enables you to scale up and scale down as and when needed, allows you to consume technology regardless where your location is, and most importantly, allows you to manage the entire network with a single pane of glass anywhere. So what is this about? This is exactly what the Meraki SD-WAN network is about. Meraki SD-WAN network provides you a clear pathway to the cloud, to your cloud resources. It allows you to consume the cloud resources anywhere, anytime, guaranteeing you a consistent experience regardless where you are. And the beauty of it is you can manage it anywhere, anytime, any part of the world via a single pane of glass. Not only that, as mentioned earlier, security should be the top of mind when new technologies are being introduced into your environment. Meraki SD-WAN is a fully secured network. Any data that traverses the network is fully encrypted, so you can be sure that all your remote workers and all your assets are properly protected as you come on board into this platform. So you keep hearing me say Meraki, Meraki, Meraki. Who exactly is Meraki? Now, Meraki is a cloud business, it's a cloud native business unit within the Cisco company, within Cisco. We are one of the fastest growing BU within the company. We provide a full stack of networking technology, particularly in the areas of networking and remote working. We are a brand that is trusted by many across the world. We serve over 500,000 unique customers across multiple verticals, across multiple market segments. In this, you can be assured, right, with your investment, with you placing your investment with Singtel and Meraki, you can be assured that you'll be well served. You will be able to better navigate and remain competitive in any sort of economic situation that can come your way. Last but not least, as you come on board to the Meraki platform, we not only enables you to embrace SD-WAN easily, as we exit this pandemic, we allow you the capability, or we offer you the capability to easily adopt new technologies like IoT for your company to explore additional revenue stream, to generate additional revenue. So your investment is well protected. All right? So with that, thank you very much. I will hand you over back to Paul. Paul, over to you.
Thank you very much, Zhi Yong, for the very fascinating presentation. Our next speaker for today, Tan Ping Cheng, is a Senior Product Manager at Singtel. He will share with us how you can simplify network management with Singtel. Over to you, Ping Cheng.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Paul. Okay, before I begin to go into my subject proper, let me look at some of response from a Singtel survey of what IT manager is interested in. Now, with a much more complicated network than yesterday, it is of no surprise that IT manager today is interested to look at network visibility to help them simplify the management of their network. Also top in the list are SD Cloud Connect, as well as security functions with SD-WAN. I will be covering a bit on network visibility as well as security function with SD-WAN, while Sharon later on will cover SD Cloud Connect. Okay, now SD-WAN, the topic of SD-WAN has been around for quite some time. I believe at least since 2014 in Singtel. There is actually a lot of changes of what is required and what is provided in the SD-WAN world. Now, allow me to actually request you to zoom in to the left-hand side where there's branch offices and headquarters. The SD-WAN of yesterday was actually focusing on the network evolving around headquarters and multiple branch offices. The whole idea was actually originally first to have a SD-WAN portal and a platform for simple central management. With this, it also provides routing options with path selection, mainly to satisfy the networking needs between branch and headquarters. A lot of applications was actually hosted in the headquarters, and branch officers need an effective way to access these applications. Now, as you can actually imagine, the SD-WAN today is a lot different. Today, a lot of applications have begun migrating over to the public cloud, as well as into SaaS applications. A decade ago, a lot of companies was running Office applications and servers in their headquarters. And today, a lot of people have actually migrated into SaaS. So with this, what is needed of SD-WAN today? All features of yesterday is still relevant. On top of that, it is critical to look at routing, path selection to public cloud as well as SaaS application. For us to effectively do this, SD-WAN solutions need to have a good set of application recognition to recognize the applications. There is also an important area to consider, which is the security features. Now you look at these items on the right-hand side, SaaS, public cloud. These are not part of the company's network, and this actually essentially increases the surface area of exposure to cyber threats. So with this, security is actually a critical part of the SD-WAN solution. Today in Singtel, we actually provide an end-to-end solution for SD-WAN CPE, and very soon, all the way to even SD-WAN networking in the public cloud. Okay, now I believe this diagram will worry a lot of people, especially a lot of us who grew up in the CLI world. Imagine this is not one branch office, but multiple branch offices, multiple SaaS, multiple public cloud. Imagine you have to set up the tunnels using CLIs. And you imagine managing every single tunnel, every single site, and the networking to every single SaaS. This is very worrying, isn't it? But not to worry, the modern SD-WAN solution will help you with your networking needs. Let us look at some examples. Since Ziyong was on the topic of Meraki, let me just zoom in. A typical SD-WAN solution today actually creates auto VPN in the fastest way. In this example, lifting up from Meraki, auto VPN can be constructed with 3 simple clicks of the GUI. How is this being done? Well, the Meraki dashboard actually uniquely acts as a broker between the MX and set up the VPN routes, authentication, encryption, key exchange, and so on. What I like best about this is that it even has auto self-recovery. Why? Because all is coordinated by the Meraki dashboard in the cloud. Okay, so two MS with 2 link uplinks will automatically self-heal to renegotiate a tunnel if there is any link outage. Now, when we talk about VPN tunnel, we need to make sure that the tunnel are performing well. So there's always very user-friendly dashboard to give you an overview of latency, jitter, loss, as even mean opinion score, more scores. Now, just now we talked about control path selections, right? So it is very, very critical today to be able to control the path selection based on applications. Okay, so it is very common. Almost all solutions today give you the ability to do path selection either using direct internet access or through the VPN tunnels. Later, I will look at this a bit more in my session on split tunneling. So this actually provides a simple one-click setup. The screen on the left, you can select Office 365, SAP application, and so on. On the right, set up your required path selection for your applications. Now, One key thing which everyone likes a lot is the true zero-touch deployment. Nobody likes to actually spend days and days setting up with network outage and so on. So what is zero-touch deployment? It is about the ability before the box is being delivered to your premise. Our engineers will be in the background doing all the configurations. So with this, there's no pre-staging, no on-site configurations, and so on. You just have to take the box out, plug in the power, connect to internet. We will push all the configurations from the cloud into the box directly. Hey, but there is still one very important step for us to do, which is simply to help you perform a comprehensive UAT test to make sure everything is working, right? So this is the power of zero-touch deployment. Now, Singtel today is a brand agnostic SD-WAN solutions where we carry not less than 4 solutions. And all of these solutions are actually leaders of Gartner's Magic Quadrant. So our concept of SD-WAN is from a customer first angle. First, we will work with you to understand your needs, your budget, and based on market trend, predict what you will need today as well as tomorrow before we zoom into a SD-WAN solution for you. So maybe let us take a closer look of Singtel SD-WAN services. I will be covering 3 areas: managed services, secure SD-WAN, as well as My Connect portal. Now, I guess today's networking issue can be sort of described by this single sentence. It's about managing a network that does not sleep. The human beings, our IT managers, need to attend meetings, the other responsibility to attend to, and we also need to sleep. But we really have a network that doesn't sleep. We work from home. A lot of us are actually accessing the company's infrastructure or the network even as late as 2 or 3 a.m. So we really cannot afford a network that goes down. So this is what Singtel SD-WAN managed services is about. First, we actually provide proactive monitoring. While you're busy having your meeting discussions, critical meetings, or just simply taking a break, or having your well-deserved rest, our network operations center is 24/7 monitoring your network to make sure that there's no outage. In the case when there's outage, we will respond immediately. Our SLA here is 1 hour response times. And within this 1 hour, all fault rectification would have already begun. We also provide lifecycle management. In today's context, it's very important to keep all your software and firmware patches updated, especially for critical updates. We provide a lifecycle management to help you to do all these updates. We also do change management. I understand that there's multiple GUIs for you to learn today. Inside here, let us help you and assist you to make any configuration changes needed. In the next slide, I will run through 2 simple examples where we can be your help. Last but not least, we provide RMA services 24/7 by 4 hours or 8/5 by next business day. Now, let me just lift up two examples of the power of configuration changes. Okay, on the left, there's customer A. Now, customer A actually has a main core network. Okay, by the way, this is a company of about 20 to 30 seats. Okay, inside this office. They actually have a core network, but they have guests visiting. So they are very concerned about security. They set up a separate dedicated network for guest login and for BYOD, bring your own devices, so that the employees' BYOD devices is not connected to the main core network. Now, after implementing for a few weeks, they discovered that employees are actually serving YouTube during office hours. Don't get it wrong, there's a good chance that they are actually learning of the latest technology using YouTube. Me, myself, often does that. Okay, so there's actually a requirement. So they actually call us or share with us the issues that employees are serving YouTube in office hours. They was asking, is there anything we can do? Should we block YouTube? And to be honest, Singtel said, why not we give you alternative? Now, these IT managers are very well versed. They are using Meraki day in, day out. Okay, so this is a Meraki platform. So what we do here is that because our experts actually eat, breathe, and sleep this single GUI, we know that hidden inside the SD-WAN firewall configuration, there is the ability to block certain application for selected hours. So with this, we help the customer actually block it during the required hours. And with that, customer actually fulfill their operation needs. Now, a second example, customer B, okay, this actually provide a guest Wi-Fi. We set up a guest Wi-Fi before they actually open shop, right? Before they open business. We set up a guest Wi-Fi for about 50 guests, about 50 over devices, right? But that's the sort of thing we cannot predict. And that was a happy but critical issue. There was overwhelming response, and there's more than 150 connections per day. So what can we do, right? There's not enough IP addresses. IP addresses run out and guests get locked out. So we actually help customers reduce the number of the hours to less than 4 hours, right? All IP addresses assigned will be expired and free up within 4 hours. And that actually solved their issues. I'm glad to say that more than 2 years has passed, and without even a hardware upgrade, customer no longer faced with such an issue. Okay, let me bring into the second topic, security. Security is very critical. Let me discuss about secure SD-WAN concept in Singtel. Okay, in Singtel today, we offer 2 solutions, one solution for Cisco Meraki and one solution from Fortinet. These 2 solutions comes in an all-in-one secure SD-WAN box, whereby a single box provide both firewall, content filtering, in IPS, IDS, as well as SD-WAN. So you can imagine this is going to help you save a lot and solve a lot of issues. Straight away, this would help you protect your network against the latest vulnerability. Now, for customers who are more security conscious, we can actually upgrade this solution into our TrustWave SIEM Managed Detection and Security Technology Management solution. So what it does is that with this enhancement, we will be collecting the log files from the Cisco Meraki boxes or the Fortinet boxes and doing a 24/7 analysis to check whether there is vulnerability, and if there is security vulnerability, we will get it patched. Now, where's the challenge? The challenge actually lies in the affordability in this box. We have a single box that do SD-WAN and that does security. And most of us knows that networking is handled by the NOC, while security is handled by the SOC. Now, because TrustWave and Singtel is one single company, we have a single help desk to help you manage your SD-WAN and security needs. So any security issues will be passed over to our TrustWave colleagues. With this, we actually are able to introduce a true secure SD-WAN solution for customers. Okay, now, I would say this is a very, very, very important slide, especially for later. My Connect Portal. Okay, in a summary, My Connect Portal is a Singtel portal that provides end-to-end visibility from SD-WAN to the connectivity. At high level, we provide statistical reports. From this portal, you can do incident and change management. Okay, you can access multiple dashboards in this single portal. There is also inventory list where you can see your SD-WAN inventory. And very interestingly, from a single portal, you can actually raise help desk tickets. Now, talking about portal, you must look at the screen, right? Rather than telling the features. So this is a quick view of what you can do. You can see that there's this screen here, or with this green color dot. It provides a service update of a status update of all your services. On the right, you are able to create new connections through this portal. You can have a device zoom in overview of this single device, what are the ports connected, what are the ports not connected. And most importantly, I like the most is the ability to look at overall network performance and download this as reports. Okay, so we are talking a lot about features. So how have a customer benefited from Singtel SD-WAN? Okay, let me go into 2 scenarios here. Now, this is a very important scenario because of the latest trend. We actually re-inspect how work is being done from home and come out with this. Okay, on the left is your traditional VPN client where you actually install VPN client at your employee's laptop. So they work from home, they click on the client, they dial in to the company's network through the client. So this is typically what we do, right? But this, I'm pretty sure that in the past 1 year have created quite a fair bit of issues. First, all the traffic is being pushed back to HQ. Even your video conferencing traffic is being pushed back to HQ via this VPN. This actually jams up the network and you create network bandwidth issue, both on the connectivity as well as the infrastructure. Secondly, is that the need to push all the traffic back actually introduce latencies, especially for latency sensitive applications, right? So what we can do here is this. Also answering one of the earlier questions, solutions you need not do a full tech refresh. It can be modular, okay? So there was a question to the panelists, do we need to do a full tech refresh? That depends on your solution. Okay, what you need to, what type of problem you solve. So inside this example, we actually deploy a VPN concentrator inside the HQ behind your existing firewall. So at each single site, SD-WAN boxes has become very affordable. We deploy an affordable SD-WAN box at the home. Okay, so inside this SD-WAN box, we implement this thing called split tunneling. So what it does is that if any home user attempt to access the IP address broadcast by the VPN concentrator, it will be done through the VPN tunnel. However, if you are access a IP address from public internet, it will go straight out, as shown in A here, into the internet to the websites. So with this, you can see that you reduce the latency, you reduce the bandwidth consumption at HQ. Very efficient. Okay. On top of that, because this is a enterprise-grade SD-WAN solutions, you expect and will get full visibility. From this dashboard, you are able to see whether the end user, if the end user is having issue, whether they are connected to the network, connected to the Wi-Fi, what is the signal strength, and so on. Okay, you have full network visibility for your troubleshooting. Very interestingly, a lot of our customers feedback to us, is there any way you can ensure that my employee are indeed at home? They are dealing with very sensitive information. I do not want them to be working in the cafe. Now, we are able to introduce our enterprise-grade internet to your home. With static IP address, we can ensure that this connection is done only from the home. Okay, so as I said earlier, if you look carefully, the way we deploy, there is no full tech refresh required. Let me bring into the second and my last example here. Okay, so this is an example that will interest everyone from the SME to the MNC. You can see the VH here. This is actually powered by Viptela solution. All right. So what is this about? Now, we know about retails. Enterprise with multiple retail shops face an issue. Because of the number of retail shops, you need to have a cost-effective solutions. But because of the application deployed and the networking deployed across the entire network across multiple countries, well, you need reliability. Okay. So before that, this particular customer attempt to deploy this solution in multiple countries from multiple vendors for multiple brand name. So you could almost imagine what's going to happen if you want to make a single change. You have to check every single platform, whether they can accept the change and how to implement it. Now, also what we help customer deploy is the first thing, we actually migrate all this network into one single solution, so that a single user experience, a single networking experience can be experienced across 400 retail stores in Asia Pacific. Now, we know that we need better reliability than internet. So what we introduce is, we introduce the LTE 4G backup. So most of the time it's connected via internet, but if there's any hiccup, it is filled over into the 4G link via the mobile network. Take note that this is across Asia Pacific. So how do we ensure good quality? Well, we help after customer connect to the internet, we help them link back into our MPLS. So a traffic from another country, Asia Pacific to Singapore, first leg through internet. After that, the long international journey can be carried through the MPLS to ensure quality. Okay, so now that actually creates 6 major benefits, which I've actually covered all. Okay, a single solutions, network changes can be done quickly, fast provisioning because of one single network, LTE backup, Singtel as a single solution provider provides SD-WAN, Internet, MPLS, and with this we can provide better end-to-end SLAs. Okay, so I guess my 20 minutes is also up. So that's my last slide. Allow me to hand over to Paul. Thank you for your attention. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you, Ping Ching, for your in-depth insights about SD-WAN. I mean, that was most fascinating. So for our final speaker today, we have Sharon Kao. She's the Associate Director at Singtel, and she will share about best practices in adopting cloud-first strategies. Over to you, Sharon.
Hi, afternoon, everyone. In the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be sharing with you some of the key cloud trends that we are seeing, and also some of the cloud connectivity options that you could potentially consider while your business adjusts towards the new norm of working from home or the new norm of cloud adoption, while still keeping your network simple and manageable. Now, let's take a quick look at some of the key cloud trends that we are seeing today. Yeah, in the APAC region in 2020, we are seeing about a 38% spend in cloud services. That's a massive increase in spending in public cloud services. And in the next 3 years, we are expecting 45% of IT spending in going into the cloud segment as well. This is up from 33% today. So more and more businesses are actually investing and spending and allocating a big side of their IT spending into cloud. And of course, the highest adoption segments that we are seeing is essentially the SME segment, where we are seeing about 34% growth in cloud investments, as they were actually most badly hit in the recent pandemic. And they're actually looking for cloud services to help them with the BCP, business extension, and growth to help them cope with the new norm. Now, in another recent survey conducted by IDC just last year, many of the network priorities that IT managers are looking at, or even network managers are looking at, are actually related to cloud. Network managers are saying that they actually need better connectivity to and management of their cloud-based platforms. This is one of the key concerns. They are looking at the better ways to support their home employees, their remote workers. They are looking at having a more simplified network and security policies as they embrace, as they put on more of the applications into a cloud environment. And last but not least, they are looking at, businesses are looking at more flexible way of consuming those services. They wish network infrastructure could be more flexible and can be consumed in a more flexible model, very similar to how they are consuming in the cloud. So these are some of the top priorities that we are seeing in the enterprise market, and we believe these are some of the key things that you will also be looking at, in 2021, really to breach your current IT and to breach and get your enterprise up, network up to cope with the new norm. Well, while visibility and security and collaboration tools in the clouds are top considerations, IT managers are also reassessing their underlying network elements. Ultimately, a strong network foundation is the key element to DX success. How the underlying network is actually connected to the application you wish to success is actually fundamental to how your applications will perform for your users. Customers that we work with are using a blend of overlay and underlying network technologies to optimize their network quality, cost, to achieve the best outcome for their business. Some of the key components that they look at is building a business network, a WAN or a business network that is cloud-oriented, having good network connections to the key cloud providers, to the key SaaS providers that they are actually working with day in, day out. They are looking at high-performance cloud and edge connectivity solutions to support their hybrid cloud requirement to ensure mission-critical applications take the best path to the cloud, so that there is less jitter and less performance issues for their customers. They are also looking at ensuring that their remote teams, their remote workers have the most consistent and secure access to their home network and towards the SaaS platforms. And of course, last but not least, having a strong overlay solution such as the appropriate SD-WAN solution to improve the overall application performance, the quality assurance, and provide them a single portal, a single UI dashboard to help them understand how their network is actually performing, and so that they could have a bird's eye view and be more proactive in their network management. So these are some of the things that we see customers looking at when we speak to them. Now, with cloud performance closely tied to network performance, it is also important that business adopt the right network solutions to best support their cloud workload based on their requirement. So in the next few minutes, I'm just going to take you through what we see and what some of our customers are doing while they access their public cloud services. Now, majority of our business or customers we speak to typically starts off with the internet. All right, to secure their data transfer, IPsec, VPN are typical connections that they use to ensure that their branch officials get easy access to the cloud. But security and scalability concerns is one of some of the key challenges they face when we speak to them. Now, while their cloud workloads mature, where they start putting more workloads into the cloud, we see customers requesting and asking us for better connectivity options moving to the cloud. This is typically driven by higher workloads, higher throughput, and of course, security and regulatory requirements that they may have to support their hybrid IT so that they could have the best platform to support their digital ecosystems. Some of the customers we speak to choose to leverage on their WAN, their MPLS network to extend their corporate network, enterprise networks towards the cloud. The solution is typically simple, seamless, and rather cost-effective. We are also seeing another group of customers, typically the enterprise or the MNC customers, leveraging on private lease lines, connecting their hub sites to the different clouds destinations. The solution is typically good for customers with sizable workload, and they need a high performance, low latency connections between their on-premise data centers and towards their virtual data centers that's hosted in the cloud. With multi-cloud adoption on the rise, now what we are seeing is about 30 to 40% based on the last analyst report that we read. We see business also considering, and a lot more business are moving into this new option called the cloud exchange model, where they will start moving their traffic into this cloud house or cloud exchange model to enable seamless access into the multi-cloud ecosystems. All right, so basically what the cloud exchange model does is actually enables a seamless on-ramp into the multi-cloud environment to support the access into the BCP or to access the best of the different clouds. This model typically also enables a lower total cost of ownership and enable businesses to start on small capacity and scale on demand while the workloads in the different cloud scales. So I will talk a little bit more about the cloud exchange model in subsequent slides. Right, so at Singtel, we believe network services can be improved to better support our customers' cloud ambitions, to be less complicated, more agile, and to deliver more predictable experience for our customers. Business can leverage on new technologies that we see that is available in the market today to access multiple clouds for simplification across their multi-cloud platforms. Businesses can also actually adopt usage-based billing models, such as a pay-as-you-go model, so that they could better correlate their costs to their usage. And last but not least, certainly, business needs to be empowered with more control and visibility into the network, just as what they have in the cloud environment, so that they're able to better preempt issues and to make better decisions. We are continuously looking at leveraging on new technologies and working with ecosystem partners to better our services, to help customers evolve their network so that we can better support them in their cloud-first efforts. One of such collaboration that we have is our recent collaboration with Microsoft. With more and more companies introducing remote workforce, the demand for Microsoft SaaS, especially Teams, Microsoft 365 services, become the primary method for communication and collaborations. That's what we see locally with a lot of our customers. Singtel has partnered with Microsoft to enable a cloud-optimized, business-grade internet service to ensure customers get the best internet route towards their Microsoft SaaS services. Now, this partnership internet works hand in hand with Microsoft Azure peering services to deliver a direct internet path between the Singtel network towards the Microsoft, making sure that the traffic gets to and from Singtel to Microsoft to your cloud application in the fastest and more deterministic manner. So it takes a direct path, a direct return path to ensure that we give customers the most optimum performance and reliability towards their Microsoft applications. Now, with this joint initiative, customers, other than performance, customers can also look forward to better internet visibility with traffic insights on user latencies, BGP route monitoring, and also get alerted when there's a leak hijack, when there's a leak or hijack or suboptimal routing issues. You'll be actually being notified by Microsoft so that you can have a more secure internet access towards your cloud applications. So with this joint solution together with Microsoft, we believe the solution is well positioned to deliver an elevated experience for the full range of Microsoft cloud applications like Microsoft 365, Teams, virtual desktop, all right? Because this is by enabling the best public routing over internet to Microsoft. So your users could potentially look forward to a more optimal applications performance and also higher reliability as well. Now, for customers that is looking at implementing hybrid IT or hybrid cloud strategy, a strong interconnection between their on-premise network and the cloud is also key to ensure that the virtual environment is a secure and seamless extension of their in-house data centers. Customers may choose to connect their HQ or their data center workload to the cloud environment such as using our platform. So with the software-defined Cloud Connect platform that we have, we essentially enable a single port at our customers' enterprise network, and we then provide them a secure and programmatic delivery of their network access towards the public cloud to support their business hybrid multi-cloud strategy. Customers are then enabled with a service portal to create virtual connections and manage all these connections on demand via a single portal. From there, they are able to create connections on demand in as short as 5 minutes, allowing customers to build their cloud network with less complexity, and so that they're also able to deliver the service in a faster manner. Now, some of the key highlights of the service would include a high performance private backbone that we are offering customers a 99.99 SLA. Now, if you do have an overseas cloud presence or a private cloud presence or data center presence, the service will allow you to scale the same fabric, the on-demand fabric, to your overseas cloud extension as well. Now, we spoke about the centralized management portal with the secure web portal, which is essentially the MyConnect portal that Ping Ching spoke about. We are able to provide programmability, on-demand connectivity in as short as 5 minutes. And of course, it actually supports the utility-based charging model that some of our customers have actually asked for. All right, so between the SDN mode of cloud access and trying to deploy multiple lease lines, going to the different cloud providers, businesses can typically look forward to about a 25% savings when moving to a software-defined network compared to having it traditionally done over private lease lines. And last but not least, the activation time, like I said, is really a lot faster as compared to going down the traditional modes. Moving on next, I'd like to share with you some of our customers' use cases, really to share with you how some of our customers have used our cloud-oriented network and how they have actually benefited from some of these services. So the first customers I'd like to talk about is actually this healthcare institution in Singapore. So this customer of ours is actually looking at adopting a hybrid cloud strategy. And they actually need a secure and simplified network to unify their on-prem environment and their multi-cloud environment. Because our customers is actually a healthcare institution, having traffic going over the internet for some of this data is actually not permitted. And hence, a private network is actually essential what the customers is actually looking for, as data sensitivity is very important to them. All right, so what we actually help customers with is we actually deploy a single port access to their co-location data centers. With that, we enable customers the same service portal to allow them to create multiple virtual connections to the various cloud providers of their choice. In this case, I think they are connected. They have got multiple VPCs going to the Microsoft Azure and also AWS. Now, so with the portal and SDN capabilities, they are able to enable those connections, build the configurations on demand through our service portal. Now, during peak periods, they are also able to scale their bandwidth and actually adjust their bandwidth on demand through the self-service portal that we have actually provided for our customers. All right, so the customers has been using the service for more than a year, and so far they have been pretty happy with what they have. Now, the second customer I'd like to talk about is actually an F&B manufacturer, a pretty large F&B manufacturer who wish to optimize their network to Microsoft SaaS. All right, so the Microsoft SaaS is actually the default collaboration tools between the Singapore office and their global offices, and hence having a consistent performance to their Microsoft 365 Teams collaboration tools are very, very important for these customers. So we actually deployed our Microsoft Direct service to the customers. So instead of potentially taking multiple hops to your Microsoft backbone services, we actually provide them a direct path towards their SaaS applications. So the outcome of this is really our customers actually enjoy a more consistent and predictable performance to their SaaS applications, giving the end users a better user experience. And just recently, this customer of ours was also deploying a town hall, leverages on Microsoft 365 platform to deliver town hall services for all their regional offices in APAC. So the town hall is actually hosted in the Singapore office, and it was streamed actually across board to all their regional offices in APAC. And so far that the Microsoft team has been working very well for them. Okay, and last but not least, I'd like to share a little bit more about how we have helped local enterprise modernize their network infrastructure with a blend of our cloud connectivity solution, our SD-WAN solutions, and even our broadband internet solution to help them achieve a more flexible network with a lower cost of ownership. So this customer of ours actually operates about 10 branches in Singapore. It's a local customers, 10 branches in Singapore, and they're using a blend of internet and MPLS services. As part of their transformation plan, they were actually looking to have a better means to operate their network. They wish to have more visibility on their network and also the application performance. They would also like to prioritize some of the applications so that the key applications get transmitted with the highest QoS for the mission critical apps. Over the last 2 to 3 years as well, they have also added more cloud applications into their environment, and it's scattered across the different business units. So they are looking at consolidating all this under central IT. All right, so what Singtel did for them really was to propose a mix of our internet, our backbone solutions, and cloud and SD-WAN solutions to help them meet their IT objective. The key outcome I would summarize would be customers do enjoy a WAN consolidation and also a cost optimization with the solution we proposed, as they are able to using the SD-WAN solution, they are fully able to utilize their WAN, their internet links in a more appropriate fashion. They're able to load balance their traffic between the various links they have and have visibility into the applications as well. With that, they are also able to consolidate their multiple cloud connections and internet connections through a centralized network so that users are able to access multiple cloud workloads with a single access. In terms of the network performance, the Singtel solution met the requirements of having a consistent and secure network, and obviously with the accelerated internet or the optimized internet backbone that we spoke about, their users are able to have a direct access into O365. Last but not least, a portal will also be enabled for our customers so that they could have central monitoring and management of their networks, so that they could proactively look at any issues and be able to react to any issues when the end users report a fault. All right, so with that, I hope I've given you a good sense or a good overview of the various network capability, the various options that we have for you to consider when you decide to embark on your digital or your cloud journey. And we have also give you some snapshots on how some of the customers have also used it, from myself and also from our previous speakers. Now, so I'd like to end out saying that your success is actually our success. And we, from Singtel and Cisco perspective, we really hope to partner you more closely when you embark on your DX journey, so that we could help you simplify your network to achieve more in the digital era. With the full suite of Singtel, with the full suite of capabilities that we have shared earlier, we hope to be able to support you with the right network options towards building your next cloud-centric network, to help you simplify your network rollout with a combination of various technologies, whether it's networking, cloud, security, or even SD-WAN functionalities, to give you stronger visibility of your network through our Singtel service portal. Whether you are located in Singapore or you are looking at scaling your operations in the region, I think Singtel is in a good position to help you to fulfill your growth ambition. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your time, and we look forward to speaking to you soon when phase 2 is over. So I'll hand over the time back to Paul, that Paul will lead you through to the next segment. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And we want to move on now to our Q&A segment right now. As mentioned earlier, feel free to send your questions in at any time, and we will get to them shortly. Okay, but for now, I have a question for Ping Ching, right? So can firmware updates be performed automatically on the devices? I mean, typically you need to bring them in and plug them in, right? So is this the case as well, Ping Ching?
Yes, firmware updates can be performed automatically. Now, in cases whereby customers prefer a scheduled update, well, in a way, it's still automatic because Singtel is there based on your schedule to actually update your firmware remotely, where we remotely access your boxes and push in the latest firmware. And once the update window is over, well, in a way, you still can get it up automatically, and with Singtel's expertise and cares to make sure that things runs really smooth. I hope I answered your question, Paul.
Thank you, thank you. I can see a stream of questions coming. Keep them coming. Let me just see what we have here. So what are some features that businesses should be looking out for in terms of remote worker solution for this work from home new normal? Maybe Zhi Yong will be able to answer this. I mean, what are some features that businesses should be looking out for when it comes to remote worker supporting with remote workers?
Right. Thanks for that, Paul. So as mentioned earlier in my presentation, I think two main things, right? Especially implementing a remote working solution. One of which, most importantly, I would think is security. So security should always be top line, so that you ensure that your organization and your remote worker are properly protected whenever they try to access resources from anywhere at any time. The next one I think is that is very key, right? Will be end-to-end visibility, because you want to ensure that your users, right, regardless where they are, can have the same user experience when they access resources, and to show that with this full visibility, you can ensure that if there's, and you can better support your users should they have any problems, and so that your productivity do not stop regardless where the user is located and where they are trying to access resources. So in short, right, security and end-to-end visibility is something that you should look at, especially when you are investing in a remote working solution.
Thank you, Zhi Yong. Sharon, I think you mentioned about Cloud Connect portal just now, right? But what are some of the configuration options and settings available on it? Could you share with us?
I think through the service portal that we shared earlier, customers are able to create multiple virtual connections towards the various clouds of their choice. So today, the major cloud providers are actually supported. If you do have got different VPCs in the various cloud environment, we are able to enable you to create multiple virtual connections through our service portal. You are able to also create set the necessary settings as well. Now, if you do have a spike in demand, maybe due to a sale or actually an e-commerce event, and you do need to scale those capability up, the service portal will actually enable you to make that changes, to enable you to scale your bandwidth on demand through our portal as well. You can subsequently scale it down later on after the event is actually over. And some of the basic configuring changes can also be done through the self-service portal.
Thank you very much, Ziyong. Thank you very much, Ping Ching and Sharon, for your presentation and for answering some of the questions we have. Thank you once again for attending today's webinar, Simplifying Network in the Digital Era. We hope you found this session to be helpful and useful in your own offices, right? So see you at another Singtel event soon. Thank you for coming. See you and goodbye.